It's September 6th. God, where is the year gone? 2024, Friday. So, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Good morning, even. I'm CW. I'm here. This is my channel Books, Travels, History, and Tales. Still looking for those subscribers. Keep coming in. Love the comments a lot better. But that's good too. I made a list. People like lists. They don't like my list. But that's okay. I can live with that. So what are the top 10 days that should, or my opinion, do affect US Americans? I'd say US Americans because technically we're not the only Americans. Just to give you a little hint there. So what's the first important date? Come on. What makes us a nation? 4th of July, 1776. Thomas Jefferson and a bunch of those other guys who got together and decided to commit treason. And George Washington would later say, hey, it's not treason if you win. He also said, stay strapped or get clapped. We didn't. But it's a nice idea. So 4th of July is number one. Second most important day, or a day that would affect you. It's really not in any order, but I thought I should start with the 4th of July. Kind of starts us off. September 17th, 1796. Go ahead and scratch your head on that one for a few minutes. I'll give you a hint. Think GW and what he didn't do. He didn't want to be president for a third time. Heck, he didn't want to take a salary. But, the guys in the Continental Congress said, or excuse me, the Constitutional Convention said, you got to take a salary because if you don't, it looks like we only want rich guys. Never mind the fact that we only want white guys that got like 10,000 acres to vote. Election story to be on the next tape, by the way. Maybe. This next one's called A Day of Hope, and it affects most of us Americans. April 9th, 1865. Poor little dirty General Sam Grant sitting down to a breakfast of sliced cucumbers and vinegar. Got a raging migraine headache. I don't know who it was, but maybe a sergeant or some patrol guy tallied up from the Confederate or maybe Union. Said, Sir, General Robert E. Lee wishes to speak to you on the matter of surrendering his troops. According to Sam Grant, and that date, that morning, that time, that moment, his headache went away. April 9th, 1865. The next one, this is called a day of tragedy. And it doesn't just apply to Americans, it would also apply to Irish as well as Great Britain. April 15th, 1912. Come on. I know a lot of you saw the movie, which was, you know, the Titanic goes down, hit by an iceberg. Unsinkable. Maiden voyage, didn't even make it to New York. Went down deep, went down. People were trying to get over there to rescue them. People drowned. Thousands died. Speaking of dying, this is September 11th, 2001. Nearly 3,000 people were killed on the attack of the nation at New York City, Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to go on much further than that. If you don't remember it and how it affected us, you need to read a book. May 8th, 1945. VE Day. That is not Valentine's and Echo. That's victory in Europe. The German Nazis, by the way, they didn't consider themselves Nazis because that's like saying country bumpkin, finally gave up. Hitler had been dead, and they just tried to find someone. think they settled on a an admiral to say that's it, we're done, we quit. Victory in Europe Day. This one, I know it's controversial, but not really. 16th of July, 1945. While at Potsdam, the then new president, Harry S. Truman, gets a message that the patient is coming along and the operation was better and successful. He's talking about the Trinity bomb. The atomic bomb exploded in the New Mexico desert, which proved that this was going to be a new weapon. I mean, the original weapon of severe mass destruction. Before they were dropping many bombs. Now they could just drop one and wipe out an entire city. Not saying, Toyota. Tokyo was not hit with one of these. They were hit with fire bombs. And believe it or not, that killed more people than the atomic bombs, the fires. Um, Ian Toll wrote an excellent trilogy about World War II. If you ever get a chance, check it out. A lot of good research, especially the effects of the firebombing and the atomic bombs that followed. November 9th, 1989. Realize you may not put this together too quickly. But you see, in the 80s, a guy from Illinois and a priest from Poland started making it very difficult for the Soviet Union. And things started to fall apart. Solidarity was born in Poland. A couple of people make the wrong statement about allowing people to pass through certain areas, and the wall came down, the Berlin Wall. It's a signal of the end of the Cold War. For those who did not live through it, count yourself lucky. The next one, part of the Cold War, October 24th, 1962. This is considered a day of hope. It was the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis. These were almost 2 weeks of unbelievable tension. It first appears that they place nuclear missiles within 90 miles of Florida on that island. That was a communist controlled nation. With a missile response of less than anywhere between 6 and 12 minutes. The missiles were IBM interballistic continental missiles that were considered multiple warheads and could devastate almost any city in the eastern seaboard of the United States. And when this crisis finally ended with not a blockade, because that would be an act of war, but a quarantine, the Soviets got the idea and through a backdoor channel negotiated a peaceful end that was acceptable to both parties. And we're here today. October 24th, 1962, the missiles of October. The best day to be an American probably had to be the 20th of July, 1969, in my lifetime. A lot of you did not live through it. Landing on the moon. Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins, who orbited waiting on those guys. I still remember Walter Cronkite trying to explain to people how to take a Polaroid picture of man walking on the moon. There's a bunch of bozos out there that said this never happened, but they're just trying to sell a book. You want the book? Get a good telescope and you can see where we landed. All right, well, that's my top 10 dates that affect us or affected us, whatever you like. A lot of people may not agree, which is okay. I'd love to have a comment about that or not. But please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to move this right along. We've been stagnant for a while, but I still want to keep making these things. So, well, that's it. That's history. It's all in the past. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about today.